Thank you, Jorge. Hello, Nathan, Patrick, Frank. Hello, Mina. Hi, Jeff. Salut, Shiva. So you're welcome to turn your attention inward. And welcome yourself as the peace, the causeless peace of being. No need for any images, no need for memory or any particular activity. Resting without anyone doing anything. Which is a sort of recognition that that which we are is restfulness itself. There may be sound and sensations, but they appear in this profound and bottomless silence. That which we are, this formless presence, may take on the form of a sensation, a thought, but it does not define itself. As whatever it is that it creates and perceives. And your reality is this borderless, non-local vastness, beingness. The peace of being, which is not caused, not the result of a certain experience, not the result of any feeling or any particular meditation. Because the causeless peace of being, that which you are, that which perceives this moment, this perception, is not the result of any cause. Is not the result of any mind activity. Understanding about our true nature is not something that you do. It is something that is done through you. In religious terms, one could say it is God's understanding shining through your mind and body. But your mind and body belong to God. They belong to the universe. They are an aspect of the totality. The totality is not a result of the parts which compose it. That which you are is not the result of birth and death of body minds, or it's not the result of cosmic arrays or galactic fields. Between each thought and between each perception, between each image you are. Like between every cloud, the sky is, space is. But also every thought and every perception and every cloud is permeated by the sky. Its substance, its essence, its reality is universal consciousness. The transparency of being. Peace means no opposition, no opposing force. A mind that is no longer puzzled. A body that is not psychologically contracted. Which is revealed to be your true self. Once your identification, your phenomenal identification, any identification, has ceased to interest you and has ceased to operate within your being, within your body-mind. Peace is not something that you gain and lose. So you can release your sense of self into the vastness. Without any worry or concern. Inviting grace to permeate your entire being. To be available without expectation. To live life as this availability, this openness. Without conditions. The mind operates according to certain rules and structures, which apply more or less successfully in the realm of phenomena. But when it comes to reality, to the understanding about true nature, the mind is helped, assisted by the scriptures, by the teaching, guided from beyond. And this guidance directs the mind towards its source. And where the mind can soak into the bliss of the self. And be healed from the impression of separation and the unhappiness of the belief of being a person. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, please make sure to unmute your mic, and you're welcome to turn on your video. This way we can see each other. So any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Shai.
Great to be here again.
Yes, nice to see you.
So I have encountered something which I do not so much understand how I'm supposed to approach it. And let me explain. Okay. In the Advaita teachings, and you have also mentioned it, they about not resisting thoughts, feelings, sensations. So that's clear to me. However, let me tell you where the problem is for me. If I encounter, let's say I encounter feelings such as depression, unworthiness, and etc., if I fall into the false identity of believing I'm shy, then I would say, oh, you know, I feel unworthy, I'm depressed, da, 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 da. But if I remember my true nature, which is I, the real I, the one that perceives, then, okay, yeah, I'm perceiving the feeling of unworthiness, depression, whatever. That's not a problem. The problem is that I don't know how to stay in the true nature which perceives, and then welcome everything or not resist, because I feel like I'm perceiving, but I don't know how to feel everything and perceive at the same time, because I don't feel like I can perceive and feel at the same time. Right. So explain to me.
So, you know, what may be helpful is if you turn your attention to the sensations in your body at the moment of contraction, for example, and remain still. And not in order to have a better experience, not in order to get beyond the feeling, but to remain still just because any movement may be an evasive technique. And in evasion, you do not fully experience what is on board or what is. So you are still simply because there is something on board, something on deck, and you're discovering not just your labeling of the emotion, depression, upsetness, anger, fear, but you're also available to experience the raw sensation without knowing it ahead of time, because if you know it ahead of time, then you're experiencing some image or idea that you have of what it is. So in order to truly experience the feeling, the emotion, to a certain degree, you have to be naked. You have to be free from the past so you can be fully present. So therefore, if you're free from the past, you don't have any particular attitude from the past. And your attitude in the moment is that of stillness, perceiving, observing, being, noticing, availability. So the path of availability within the body at the feeling level is something you could explore. It may not be particularly easy when the emotions that appear on deck are very powerful. Then it is what it is, you know. Like you fall in the white waters of the river, and the white waters, they carry you for 100 yards, and on the other side you can swim again, you know. Hopefully you don't hit any big rocks, you know, in the water, so you don't get too hurt.
Okay, so can I say something?
Please.
So right now, as you have just explained to me, I'm closing my eyes. I'm just noticing, like, let's say there's a feeling of unworthiness, but I'm just gonna drop the label unworthiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drop the label, and I go to and I drop all the story about it, of, you know, why I feel like this or why not, doesn't matter. I drop all the story. Now I'm perceiving or witnessing, same thing, the raw sensation of contraction. Even contraction is a label, but we try as best as we can. So I'm just experiencing I'm just perceiving the pure contraction in the body, and then I'm gonna even drop the label contraction, and just perceiving what is, without labels, stories, names, and etc. And just stay in the perceiving of the raw sensation until at some point it may relax or it may not. But you said without an agenda to get rid of it or something. Just purely witness the raw sensation without an agenda, right?
Yes, in the perceiving itself, there is the freedom, the availability, the complete availability, the openness. Mm-hmm. So it's not a strategy. We're not trying to get to a different experience, but just pointing out that a full availability, full noticing, or an interest in being available, in being present. It doesn't have to be full. I mean, let's not emphasize that, because then we're creating ideals in the mind. But the availability is an openness. And openness is in a way synonymous to freedom. It's synonymous to beauty, to love, to, you know, the openness. So the object doesn't matter so much. If you're being available to a beautiful sunset, or if you're available to I don't know, sometimes you're perceiving I don't know, an earthquake. Well, it doesn't matter. The subject of the perception does not matter as much as the interest, the availability, and allowing life to unfold, because life is unfolding. It's a flow, and in the openness, life flows. It goes in the right direction, because it's not, there are no conditions upon it. It's not being directed by your mind.
I see. I see. Well, I'll keep I'll keep returning to the experience of perceiving without the labels, and I'll keep doing.
In a relaxed way, you know, not to sort of play in that garden, explore that garden, explore that direction. Don't make rigid, don't build a highway out of way.
Yeah,
you follow sort of, yes. So it's an invitation. There is something that speaks to you. You say, yeah, okay, it sounds good, you know.
I see, yeah. Not to make it like I'm going into Vietnam
Yes.
for a mission.
Yes, right, exactly. Life is already happening. Everything is perfect as it is. It's already consciousness does not know ignorance. It's already done. It's a done deal.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll let other people ask questions. Thank you so much, Magdi.
Okay, Shai. Okay. So I have a question from Frank. Let me see. Frank. Oh, here's Frank. Okay, let me see. Let me admit Frank. So Frank, there was a question you had sent me. I'm not sure. Let me see. Is it okay if I address your question here in this?
Yeah.
Meeting? Okay.
Yeah, Magdi, go ahead, please.
Okay, wonderful. So let me read it. You say, I am talking about what is referred to as direct experience. Okay, so the question is about direct experience. Does direct experience refer only to sensations in the body? Doesn't direct experience also refer to thoughts appearing in the moment? I know thoughts come and go, but so do sensations. I know that thoughts tell a story, and stories tend to take us away from the present moment, but without consideration of content, thoughts themselves, like sensations, also come and go. Shouldn't focusing on whatever thought appears in the moment also be considered direct experience? When I hear go to your direct experience, I think of all my sense experiences, not just sensations. Okay. So let's talk for a minute about the term direct experience. Whenever I use that term, I don't recall having used it in a while, but I do use it on occasion. So good question to explore right now in the moment. What would direct experience mean? So our experience is composed of thoughts, sensations, and perceptions, mental activities, bodily sensations, worldly perceptions. And our experience is made out of knowing, meaning perception. There is a perceiving aspect, a perceiving element to our experience. There is, one could say, that which is perceived, and there is perceiving, or one could say that which perceives. Of course, upon inquiry into our experience, we can make distinctions between that which moves and that which does not. That which appears to move is thoughts, perceptions, sensations. That which does not appear to move is the reality that perceives, which we refer to as consciousness, or in the perceiving experience, we say awareness. It's consciousness / awareness. So what part of it is our direct experience? Well, all of it. All of it is our direct experience. And yes, you're right, Frank. Thoughts, perceptions, sensations, they're our direct experience. When you're experiencing a toothache, or when you're experiencing the thought, gee, today is Saturday, or, I'm going to cook some pasta tonight. They're both, the thoughts, the sensations, and the perceptions, they're all part of the direct experience. So when you ask yourself, what is our direct experience? The answer is, it's all our direct experience. Except that there is some aspect of our direct experience which is constantly shifting, dissolving, and there is an aspect of our direct experience which is always present. And when you look at the shifting aspect of our direct experience, meaning the thoughts, the perceptions, and the sensations, you find that they have an existence in time. It seems that they're appearing in time and in space. And when you take a look at the reality of time and the reality of space, you don't find an actual physical time in an independent reality of its own. You don't find an actual dimension of space that has a reality of its own. Its reality is consciousness. So thoughts refer to time, and perceptions refer to space. When you contemplate the reality of thoughts and perceptions, you don't find an actual reality out there. You only find the reality in consciousness. So this is why sometimes there is a distinction between that which is real and that which is not real. And sometimes it's used in the Vedantic teaching to refer to the reality of consciousness and the non-reality of world, body, mind impressions. But that doesn't really matter, because it's sufficient to understand that there is one reality, and that consciousness is this one reality. Now, what would be not a direct experience? Because we talked about direct experience, meaning our experience of consciousness / perceptions, sensations, meditations. What would be not direct experience? Now, that I am a man is not a direct experience. It's an experience of a thought, that I'm a man. You could say that I'm actually experiencing directly, one could say, the thought I'm a man, but you don't actually experience being a man, because your experience of yourself, your actual experience of yourself, is that of awareness. This moment, awareness. Now, your experience of being a son, or being a father, or being a neighbor, that is also not a direct experience. That's a second-hand, it's a narrative about direct experience. So there's an experience of this perception, and there is the narrative that I am listening to a satsang and Magdi, or a meeting, and Magdi is, right now talking to me. That would be a narrative. That's not your direct experience. Your direct experience is that of pure perception. And if you want to get even purer than that, then your direct experience is that of consciousness. Anything other than consciousness awareing itself would not be a direct experience in my language. Now, consciousness experiences itself directly in the absence of objects. It doesn't need a thought or a sensation or a perception to know itself. And consciousness experiences itself via objects, via body-mind, which is it's experiencing its creation. In other words, consciousness knows itself in the presence of world, body, mind, thoughts, perceptions, sensations, and as well as in the absence of phenomena, in the absence of objective, subtle or gross experience. So ultimately, direct experience is consciousnessing itself. And in what is significant in our meetings is that the ignorance is consciousness experiencing itself as a limited consciousness, perceiving and feeling and sensing itself to be localized, limited, mortal, existing in time and space. And the understanding, at least in my language, about direct experience is the understanding about consciousness, about reality, about the absolute, the reality which is. And one of the qualities of this reality is perceiving. Okay, where did I lose you, Frank?
No, you haven't lost me. You haven't lost me. No, this is a very. I've been thinking about this question for a while, and I couldn't formulate it. In fact, I had to write you twice because the first time it didn't make much sense. And I really get lost in this because every time I've heard, and you don't use that direct experience term a lot. I hear it from Rupert a lot. Rupert Spira. I just did a whole thing with him, a weekend thing with him, and every time it comes up, I think I almost feel like he's trying to pull one over. I know he's not, but it almost feels like he's trying to pull one over on me by saying almost as like matter of factly that that's how direct experience. When I'm thinking, I don't know what that really means, and then there's this thing about, like, for instance, you were just talking about the fact that we consciousness can't be limited. I mean, that's intellectually that's a very easy thing to figure out if you just think that consciousness is not anything that you can be touched or felt, or it's totally in the mind realm, or it's not something that's physical. So that would be really crazy to think that it could be contained within like a body or a cranium or whatever. And we've talked about this many times, but still, when I get told, when it's suggested to me that I go into my direct experience as consciousness and that I can tell it's unlimited from that, I really can't, because when I go into that, even though intellectually I can see that it's not limited, but when I go into the experience of it, I can't feel anything outside the body. I can't feel like, I can't feel the tree that's in front of me, or So it's hard to say that that's my direct experience.
Mhm.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Now, from the perspective of the body-mind is limited. For example, you can, through your eyes, only see, I don't know, a mile, only on a clear day, maybe 4 or 5 miles away, but you cannot see 100 miles away. All your senses, the senses of the body-mind, are limited, and the body itself cannot jump 30 feet up in the air. It can jump maybe, I don't know, 6 feet, 7 feet, I don't know, you know. So from the perspective of the body-mind, there are limitations. The capacities of the brain to process data. Maybe the brain can process 85 zillion pieces of data every microsecond, but it cannot process 85 zillion plus 1 data per second. There is a limitation to anything that is human, that is manifest. Yes, you're okay with that?
Mhm.
So when you assume yourself to be a person and you assume yourself to be a body-mind with them, that somehow it's your brain, and you're trying, you know, as Frank's brain, as Frank's intelligence, as Frank's experience, as Frank's wisdom, to comprehend consciousness. You may be using the wrong tool, because brain's capacity is only capable of processing 85 zillion pieces of data a microsecond, while the universe or consciousness is infinite zillion pieces of data a microsecond. I'm just playing with a metaphor, you follow? So if you are relying on the body-mind instrument to somehow grasp the experience of consciousness, you're using the wrong tool. Now, you can ask yourself in this moment, is there a perception going on right now? And the answer is yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there a reality to this perception?
I know what reality means, and I guess, but there are times when I really don't.
Okay. So let's say if I tell you 2 + 2 = 5, you say, no, it's a lie. And I tell you 2 + 2 = 4, and you say, yes, that's true. In both cases, in the case of 2 + 2 = 5 and 2 + 2 = 4, which were both sort of appearances or experiences, there was something that perceived both the lie and the truth. There is something rather than nothing. Are you on board that there is something rather than nothing?
Yes.
And by that something, I don't have any definition of this something. But there is something rather than nothing. And that something rather than nothing is whatever it is that perceived both the lie, 2 + 2 = 5, and perceived the truth, 2 + 2 = 4. Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
So that something rather than nothing that perceives, that is what I refer to as there is a reality to experience. Whether the experience is a lie or whether the experience is not a lie, there is a reality that is to which to which the experience is subordinate, as a way of speaking. There is a.
So is it kind of like, is it like the metaphor of the paper and writing on the paper? So the paper would be the reality of
Yes,
the words on the paper.
Yeah, metaphor of that. There's a metaphor of the mirror. There's a metaphor of
Yeah, the mirror.
the clouds. Yes, yeah, many metaphors that basically refer to that. But what I'm interested in is pointing that it's your experience that there is something rather than nothing. I don't want to use a metaphor right now. I just want to go directly to your experience, that right now in your experience, there is something rather than nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
You're certain of that?
Yeah, well, I'm here. Surprising. Yep. So I'm certain of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm certain of that too. I don't know what that something is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, oh, well, there is this and that. I'm just saying there is something rather than nothing.
Could be a dream, but it's still going on.
Absolutely. It could be a hallucinogenic experience right now. Who knows? Maybe we dropped some heavy acid about 30 years ago and we're still in the middle of the trip. We dreamt that we're born and we know, yeah, it could be. But irrespective of whether it's a hallucination, a dream, whatever, there is something rather than nothing. That's my experience. I don't mean my Magdi. That's your experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if it's your experience, then you know reality, because reality is your experience. That's, by the way, that's something rather than nothing is what I call reality. I use the term reality. It's just a term, okay? Reality meaning it's always unchanging. It's always, there could be various images on the screen, but this something rather than nothing remains. Yes?
Yes.
So what I'd like to invite you is to take a look at this, whatever it is that we call reality, this something rather than nothing is your direct experience. It's not, you're not imagining that there is something. You actually, there is something that rather than nothing. We don't need to know what that is, but it's your direct experience. Yes? Are you open to that? It's your direct experience?
Yes, yeah.
So reality is your direct experience, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I thought your question was that I don't know what consciousness is or what reality is. By the way, I use the term, well, you know me long enough now. I use the term reality and consciousness as the same word. So therefore, consciousness because it's your experience. But maybe, I'm just saying, maybe you want to capture consciousness in the mind. You want to somehow, although you know consciousness as your direct experience, you want to somehow also be a person who understands it. You followed what I just said?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah.
So you want to also, although your experience, you know consciousness experientially, and you know that this something rather than nothing is not a concept, it's your direct experience, meaning it's you. This whatever it is that perceives. Whatever it is that perceives, whatever it is that it is perceiving, whether it's a lie or a dream or a hallucinogenic experience, whatever it is that is perceiving, is this reality. Because this reality is not like a blank thing, it perceives. You're okay on that with me saying it perceives?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's there has to be consciousness there to perceive anything, to even a thought or anything. It's just
No, I'm not saying there has to be consciousness. I'm saying that this reality perceives.
This reality
Or
perceives.
consciousness perceives, yes. It perceives.
Yeah, consciousness is reality. So yeah, reality perceives. Yeah.
Right.
Am I up?
Even if I tell you 2 + 2 = 5, or if I tell you there are pink flying elephants in my bedroom, or you see or you experience pink flying elephants, it's still this reality that is perceiving, right?
Yeah.
So this reality perceives, and that's what we refer to as I in the way we speak. So you know consciousness experientially, and you also know that consciousness is the reality which perceives, and you also know that it is I which perceives. If you put all these together, you may come to the conclusion that whenever you ask the question, hey, Magdi, I don't know what this consciousness is, you may come to the conclusion that now you're imagining yourself to be a personal mind, and you want to have a personal mind definition or a personal mind rendition of consciousness, that now you say, okay, now this personal mind knows what consciousness is.
Yes. Yeah, I was coming from that position of, being a person who wants to know what direct experience is.
Right. So then
I'm getting it. Yeah. So is it all a matter of, like you were talking earlier with Shai, is it a matter of just keeping the storylines out of it, all of it, and just direct experience means that you just go into what it is that you either feel, see, whatever that's there, without adding commentary to it?
Yes, but it's important to somehow distinguish that when you are referring to yourself as a person from when you're not. When you're not referring to yourself as a person, for example, right now, there are no questions. There is just being.
Yeah.
Consciousnessing itself as this experience. But when you refer to yourself as a frank, as a personal self, as a limited mind, there will be multiple questions, issues, confusions, emotions, etc. Now, it's important to make that distinction, Frank. Because whenever you go to I am Frank, then it's like, oh my God, I don't get it. I don't get it, because now you're considering yourself to be a limited mind, and now you're meaning an imaginary me, right? And you're hoping for this imaginary me to get it. Yeah. But imaginary me, because it's imaginary, can only get imaginary bullshit, right? It's in the imaginary la la land. So what are you going to feed your imaginary ghost? I mean, what, you're going to cook imaginary food, right? For your imaginary ghost. So whenever you refer to yourself as the old model, as, oh, I'm a son, I'm a father. I mean, yes, the body is, okay, but I'm talking about you referring to yourself, not to the body. You see that distinction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not referring to the body.
Between the body mind, you mean between the body mind self, quote unquote, and awareness? Yes,
because the body is named Frank. The body.
Right. I get that.
Yes.
But those are all thoughts. That's all thoughts, anyways. Even the thought that says, even the thing that says, "I'm a body," that's a thought. Everything is a thought. That's phenomenal, right?
Yeah, it's phenomenal, but I don't mean to denigrate thoughts, or to denigrate the body, or to say, oh well, the body is just a bunch of thoughts. I don't want to go there. That's not where I'm going. I'm just basically want to point that whenever you're referring to yourself, meaning your true being, the one being, as a personal being, you are going into a belief model, a model that is based on belief and on conditioned brain. The brain has been conditioned, oh, you're Frank, you're this, you're this, So, oops, I think I just lost the connection with Frank, but it's okay. He'll get the recording. So that's the distinction I wanted to invite you to notice. Just noticing whenever we're referring to ourselves in any particular way, then we are in some sort of belief system. Even if you refer to yourself as Brahman, what if you even if you refer to yourself as the Godhead? Hey, Frank, you're back. Yes. So I'm
I lost you for a while. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, we lost you too. So it's just like about not to refer to yourself in any way. Any reference to yourself in any way is saying, oh, I know what this something, the something rather than nothing, I know what that is. I know what that something rather than nothing is. No, you don't know what that something rather than nothing is. And not to know is perfect. Because not to know is openness, is open. It's like, okay, it's an openness. The mind says, oh, well, that's not sufficient. You, until you know, and you come to me and you write a book about, what I am, I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy. I want you to come and recite to Papa, what you discovered that you are. And you come to Papa and you say, well, I am, but I don't know what I am. So I am beingness. I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware. I perceive. Yes. I am borderless. Yeah. Okay. Because there is a border to this table. There is a border to this body. There is a border to my house, but there is no border to I. But in spite of all of that, I cannot say I know what I am. So consciousness, absolutely, in its absolute form, is not knowingness, is not knowingness. And that's where the freedom, the peace, and the joy is. Mm-hmm. And yes, of course, there is a beautiful body, Frank, and a nice friend, and a neighbor, and somebody we can chit chat with, play cards with, have a beer with. It's beautiful. That's just the playground, you see. The fact that we play in the playground doesn't mean that we are a body-mind.
Yeah, no, I'm getting that. Yeah. Okay. A lot to chew on. Thanks, Maggie. I'm gonna get going.
All right.
I've got my mom here waiting for me. So
oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Please give our best to your mom. Yes.
I will. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Maggie. See you later.
Okay. Sure. Any questions?
Just thank you, Magdi. It's amazing to be here. I don't know why, but it is amazing.
Yeah.
And even this is too much.
No, it's beautiful. I'm also
Magdi.
Hello, Mina.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to hear you and to speak. I don't know how to put this question, but it's a little bit like at the one side, you know, in Advaita Vedanta, it is the truth that you are already dead. You have not to become something new, but you have to let go of all the things that you are not. And so it is like a release, and it is like oh, I have to let go. At the other side, it seems for me that there are also like rules, in the sense of you have to meditate also, you have to quieten your mind. Like it is also said that the more you quieten your mind, the more clear it becomes, you know. And I feel that at the one side it seems very easy, and it seems very natural, and also when I hear you speaking, it is very clear and very easy. But at the other side, it is not so easy, because all these things in daily life are coming, and you are always at the point to fall back and to identify yourself with this thing that you are not, because it's so you are so used to be that.
Yes.
That false identity. So where is the middle way where you can go, and like it's also said, you stay in your life, you make your things that you have to do, you don't go in the mountains and you leave your family. You are like that, like you always were.
Yes.
But there, you know what I mean?
Yes, Mina. So if it was meant for you, if your path was a path where you would be in the mountains, or you would be meditating 5-10 hours a day, this is what you would be doing, because this would be your path, you know. But obviously that's not your path. Your path is what your life is right now. And in terms of the Advaita teaching, the Advaita teaching says that, you know, you are the reality. You are the reality which perceives the reality of consciousness. This is where it starts. It starts that you are not what you imagine yourself to be. You are not what you perceive. You perceive yourself to be, what you feel yourself to be. All of these are appearances, that you are the reality that perceives right now. And if that message resonates for you, if you say, yes, I get it, and you're absolutely certain, you keep looking at that. So you don't just take somebody else's belief, you know, you don't make a new belief. No, if you take a look and you say, yes, I am the reality which perceives. The body appears to me, sensations appears to me, images appear to me, images of my children, of my mother, of my friends appear to me. I am the reality which perceives the images, which perceives the sensations, which perceives the sky, which perceives the traffic, which hears the sound of the birds. I am the reality which perceives. You come to that certainty. It's very, very clear for you. Then you already are in the Advaita channel. Now, then what remains for you is all the conditioning and the habits, the reactions, the going back to the feelings. Oh, I have to take care of my son, my mom, there is all the conditioning. Oh, I have to be a good person, or whatever. We have the conditioning. That is continue to operate. But we have the understanding that I am the reality. I am not the body-mind. I am the reality. But I own a car, I own a body, I own a house, I own children, I own a mother, blah, blah, blah. So you have to relate with your car, you have to relate with your body, you have to relate with your house, you have to relate with your bank account, you have to relate with your neighbor, your children, blah, blah, blah. So then how do I relate with them? The old model is I relate with them, oh my God, I have to be good or else. I have to succeed or else. I have to please them or else, blah, blah, blah. This is the old model. The new model is different. The new model is all is well. My body is sick, all is well. My car doesn't start, all is well. All is well does not mean I am not going to do something about it. No. All is well means all is well, and I'm going to see what's going on with the body. Why is the shoulder hurting? Can I do? Am I sleeping the right pillow? Am I not exercising correctly? My son, my daughter, okay, what is their problem? Or they're maybe they call me, I need to answer the phone, say, how are you? And I'm getting into, I have to save them. No, I have to save them. No, all is well. All is well is the ground, is the base. You know, then you live. All is well. My car isn't starting. All is well. Let me see if I can call the mechanic. Let me see if I can use the bicycle. Let me see if I call my neighbor, can give me a ride to the market, etc. You see, let me see if I can call for delivery. Sometimes they can deliver. You know, the ground is all is well. My bank account is going down. All is well. What can I do? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I can work additional hours. Maybe I could do something, sell something on the internet, whatever. You know. But the ground is always well. So that's the Advaita channel. Now there is the other channels. I have to meditate. I have to clean up my mind. I have to chant so that my body becomes, I don't know, some chanting body, maybe body that's happy, you know, have to, these are other things, you know. If you are drawn, if you love to chant or to meditate or to go to retreat to where, you know, you are silent for 5 days, you can try it. I mean, it's okay, but all is well. The Advaita channel is all is well. So you go, well, I'm going to meditate. Okay, meditate. But I'm not meditating to make things well. Because if you want to make things well, then you are not the Advaita channel. You are trying to make things well.
Yeah.
You see? So you are all is well. Is there a problem in my mind? Yes, all is well. Let me see what's happening in my mind. Oh, I am worried about the future. Oh, wow, I'm worried about the future. So I'm worried about the future. Okay, first, you know, worry about the future is nonsense. Secondly, who is this I that is worried about the future? And thirdly, what is the future? You know, so I'm moving from all is well to let me worry about the future, you see. So you can take a look at that. You have already the teachings, and you can explore also your experience. What is this thing that is not this unhappiness? So you can explore what is this unhappiness in the light of the reality of consciousness. And when you are open to reality, to God, God is open to you. You don't need to figure it out. You try to figure out. You can't figure it out. You say, okay, I'm unable to figure it out. And then you will find that the universe will figure it out. It will. It takes, life is a flow. It's not about my direction. It's not about my personal design, you see. And that's life. Life is open. But the me, you know, when we're trying to get something for the me, we're trying to meditate in order to gain, to become one with God or whatever. We're trying to meditate for the me, for the personal self. Then all these activities have a false assumption in them. They're false. So you don't want to spend too much time in the false, trying to improve the imaginary me. You know, the you is already this reality, whatever it is that perceives. And it's unfolding as this experience, as this conversation, as this thought, as this bodily sensation. It's all just right. It's all just right. There's no opposition to it. The opposition is a false opposition. You don't need to clear out your mind. Why? Leave your mind alone. Leave your mind alone. Simply recognize yourself as this presence. You don't need to get so busy with clearing the mind. I mean, if you have a homework to do, if you have to cook something, you don't want to be thinking about how to fix your car. You need to look at, okay, do I have the tomatoes? Do I have the lettuce? Do I have the fava beans? Do I have milk? Do I have whatever, right? It makes sense. But you don't need to clear your mind, like to have a I don't know, better mind or something like that. No, right. No. Your mind it's God's mind. Let God take care of the mind, you know. If God wants to improve the mind, God will improve the mind. Right? 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 Yeah. Right. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay. Nice to see you. Yes.
It's very nice.
Okay. Very lovely to be with you all. Patrick and Nathan, Mina.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Tara. Hi, Tara. Sarishita.
Hi, Tara. Thank you.
Hello, Martha. Hey, Tara, nice to see. I'm gonna see. She's right next room.
Oh, she is
on the screen. Yeah, Tara cooks. She always makes those wonderful meals. It's really.
We were at the farmer's market this morning, so we've got some good.
Yeah, delicious tomatoes and cucumber. Yeah. Well,
thank you for wonderful satsang, man.
okay.
Yes, thank you, Magdi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magdi.
Beautiful.
all.
Wonderful to see you all.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.